The Golden Bachelorette. Joan Vassos is trying too hard to get fans to like Chock Chapple. She's painting a false narrative. January 5, 2025. Hello, Bachelor Nation news fans. Welcome back to the channel. The Golden Bachelorette test star Joan Vassos is working hard to get fans to like Chock Chapple, but it appears that she's painting a false narrative of her fiance to get people to like him. Despite knowing that Joan and Chock's relationship has been going smoothly throughout the last few months, Bachelor Nation has struggled to accept him as her partner. Throughout the Golden Bachelorette Season 1, Joan got to know quite a few guys and made connections with several, but it was clear some of the relationships she built were stronger than others. Chock was someone Joan sparked with quickly. Despite the fact that Joan's relationship with Chock wasn't the only one she built during her time on the Golden Bachelorette, her connection with Chock was the strongest by the end of the season. As she went into the finale, though Joan shared she wasn't clear about who she was going to choose, it was clear that she was picking Chock over Guy Gansert. After the season came to an end, there were quite a few critical voices that Chock felt the need to answer, as Bachelor Nation hadn't connected with him. Joan's been sticking up for her man too. Chock has a history of flakiness in relationships. Although Chock has been clear with Joan when it comes to his feelings for her, he has a known history of being flaky in his past relationships. When Chock was intense about his feelings for Joan on the Golden Bachelorette, viewers found it off-putting, while his exes from past relationships found it familiar. The majority of Bachelor Nation struggled with seeing Chock's immediate and intense feelings for Joan, and felt like their claims were corroborated with what they saw on screen. Though Joan and Chock's relationship was formed a bit differently than those of his past, his intense feelings were concerning for viewers, as he seemed to fall in love with Joan in a few short days. When his exes came forward, Chock was revealed to be a bit more of a playboy than he'd alluded to in his past. Though he tried to fight back against the allegations, it was clear he had a history of flakiness in his relationships. Chock presented red flags on the show. Although Joan and Chock were both interested in one another on the Golden Bachelorette, Chock presented more red flags than Joan. After being accused of being non-committal in the past, Chock was also showing signs of being an isolator during his time on the series. Chock built very few relationships outside of what he shared with Joan, ignoring a lot of the other men on the Golden Bachelorette cast. Despite knowing that many of his fellow contestants built genuine relationships with one another, he didn't seem to care about the way he came off on screen. Joan is presenting Chock a certain way on social media. Although Joan and Chock have both been oversaturating Bachelor Nation with their content post-show, it's clear that both of them have been trying to erase the reputation Chock earned on the Golden Bachelorette. Chock's reputation from the show pushed Bachelor Nation away from him viscerally, making it clear that they didn't like the way he was presented. Joan, who feels like she knows Chock well, has tried her best to reframe him to the audience. Unfortunately, Joan's attempts at changing the way Bachelor Nation feels about Chock has just proven that his personality on the Golden Bachelorette social media campaign to rehabilitate Chock's image. Since the season ended, Joan has taken it upon herself to rehabilitate Chock's image in the eyes of Bachelor Nation. From Instagram posts gushing about his kindness to heartfelt TikToks showcasing their life together, Joan's social media has been flooded with content designed to show a softer, more relatable side of Chock. While Joan's efforts are undoubtedly well-intentioned, many fans feel they're overcompensating. Instead of addressing the valid concerns viewers have raised about Chock's past behavior, Joan seems to be sweeping them under the rug. For example, in a recent Instagram post, Joan shared a photo of Chock volunteering at a local animal shelter, accompanied by a lengthy caption praising his selflessness and big heart. While the gesture was undoubtedly kind, critics couldn't help but feel it was a calculated move to distract from the red flags that surfaced during the show. Painting a false narrative. One of the most contentious aspects of Joan's social media campaign is the narrative she's crafted around Chock. By emphasizing his good qualities and downplaying his flaws, Joan seems to be presenting an idealized version of her fiancé rather than an authentic one. This approach has only fueled skepticism among fans, who feel they're being manipulated into liking Chock. For instance, in a recent interview, Joan described Chock as the most genuine person I've ever met, a statement that rang hollow for many viewers who remember his dismissive behavior on the show. While it's natural for Joan to want to defend her partner, her refusal to acknowledge his past mistakes comes across as disingenuous. Fans' reactions, divided and vocal. The response from Bachelor Nation has been mixed, with some fans supporting Joan and Chock's relationship and others voicing their doubts. On Reddit, threads dedicated to dissecting their relationship have garnered thousands of comments. One user wrote, "Joan deserves to be happy, but I can't shake the feeling that Chock is putting on a show for her. It's like he's playing the part of the perfect fiancé rather than being his true self." Another commented, "Joan's constant praise of Chock feels forced. If he's really as great as she says, why does she need to work so hard to convince us?" Despite the criticism, there are also fans who believe Joan and Chock's relationship is genuine. "People are being way too hard on Chock," one supporter wrote. "He's clearly head over heels for Joan, and it's unfair to judge him based on his past." The pressure of public scrutiny. It's worth noting that Joan and Chock's relationship is unfolding under an intense spotlight. As the first lead of the Golden Bachelorette, Joan's every move is being scrutinized by fans and media alike. This level of attention can be overwhelming, particularly for someone like Chock, who isn't accustomed to life in the public eye. In a recent interview, Joan opened up about the challenges of maintaining a relationship in the Bachelor Nation spotlight. "It's not easy," she admitted. "Chock and I are just trying to focus on each other and block out the noise. At the end of the day, we know our truth, and that's what matters." While Joan's sentiment is admirable, it's clear that the couple is struggling to balance their private lives with the demands of public perception. What's next for Joan and Chock? As Joan and Chock continue to navigate life after the Golden Bachelorette, it remains to be seen whether they can win over Bachelor Nation. While their love story has its fair share of skeptics, there's no denying that Joan is committed to making their relationship work. For fans, the question isn't whether Joan and Chock are happy together. It's whether their relationship is as authentic as Joan wants them to believe. As Joan continues to share her life with Chock on social media, the pressure to maintain a flawless image may ultimately do more harm than good. Conclusion? In the end, Joan Vassos and Chock Chapple's relationship is a reminder that love in the Bachelor Nation spotlight is never easy. While Joan's efforts to defend and promote Chock are understandable, they risk alienating fans who value authenticity over perfection. Whether Joan and Chock can overcome the challenges of public scrutiny and prove their doubters wrong remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: their journey will continue to captivate Bachelor Nation. Stay tuned, Bachelor Nation news fans, as we keep you updated on all the latest developments in Joan and Chock's love story. What do you think about Joan's attempts to reframe Chock's image? Do you believe their relationship is genuine, or do you think Joan is trying too hard to win over fans? Let us know in the comments below.